Okay, so we're back. We're now in Du Bois County in Du Bois. Patoka Lake is just over the hill there. And we planted, this is my father-in-law, grandpa's yard. And we planted trees over the last few years. So 2 years ago, we planted some trees, and I'll show you those actually here. And then we planted in 2017. This is 2024 when I'm recording this. So was that 3 plus 4, 7 years ago? We had planted some trees. So they're like starting to be in their prime. But the unique thing about these trees is I didn't do anything to them. So Grandpa mows. So I have to make it easy for him to mow, right? So one of the things that I'm doing is I put plastic down. This is all just a strip of plastic, right? And this is just a 20-foot piece because that's what I ended up having. So I put 2 trees in here. These trees behind me are 2 years old, season and a half really. And so there's no fruit yet on them, but they're growing, right? And I just want something that'll grow on its own without water. Some of these stuff are getting eaten. I still haven't fenced, right? We're even just gonna fence individually to make life a little easier because we're not gonna try to fence, this entire place. So the key note here is that I haven't been watering it. There's no irrigation system. If they make it, great. And if they don't, well, then I'll try to get something a little more drought resistant in the future, right? So these trees here are 2 years old. And it's just plastic. I bury the plastic. I just stretch it out and then I fold it in and bury it. Actually, I fold it down this way and bury it. So it's buried under the ground here. Fold the ground back over it. So I just come with a pick and I kick it up and I just bury the plastic. I weed eat it really low, scorched earth, weed eat this stuff. And then I just threw the mulch on top of it. It looks a little bit better to have the mulch, but it also keeps the UV rays off of it. Because without some kind of cover, the sun will eat this stuff. This isn't landscaping cloth. This is just 3 mil, 6 mil. This is 6 mil plastic that I bought here. I didn't want the cheaper stuff, but 3 mil would probably do it, to be honest, right? 6 mil, come on, we can slip and slide on that for years, so as long as we put it away, as long as the UV rays don't get it, right? So here's my 2-year-old tree. And then I ran out of this mulch process, and I really like this because he can just come up with a mower and hit the edge and he doesn't have to deal with anything, right? Versus trying to get around here, and feeling that's poison, to be honest. It's not my style, but this is Grandpa's house, and weed whacker just doesn't fit in his hands anymore. So we do what we can. We work with what we can, right? I don't use poison in my yard. Anti-poison, 100%. Plum tree. Okay, so now we're gonna walk over to some 2017 planting. So this is 7 years old. Okay, so this is a pear tree. The deer come right out of the forest here and just eat it. So there was another one here that just didn't make it, and there's like a little stub of a tree right there that it's hanging in there, but we'll see what the deer do to it. I haven't fenced. Set it and forget it type planting. So this is a pear tree that I'm completely in the shade of, and it's so heavy with pears that every branch is just kind of hanging now with just pears all over them. So that's really exciting, right? So we come down this way. I'll actually go backwards so you can be like, oh, he's going into a forest, right? So here's where I got my mulch system again. I had another piece of cloth here, right? So I went for it. But this pear tree, this time there's no pears this year. I don't know what happened to it. It didn't, a weak year. This is apple tree. So this is an apple tree, and you can see we just have apples just all over the branches. So we're gonna have some apples this year, and we're moving into a much bigger apple tree. I'm gonna have to come in here and cut because I can see it's protruding past the line of where we want to run the mower, right? I want to run the mower there, so it means like everything that's on this side of me, I'm gonna just cut off, take it down the line, at least at overhead height, so that we can mow. So gotta facilitate the user, right? In this case, it's a ride-on mower. So all this has to come out because this is not even shoulder height. So this is what this stuff will have to come off here right on this line. Cut that off a little bit and just round it out. and then this will be great. But there are so many apples on this tree. And then this guy just had predation from deer. So the white-tailed deer come in here right out of the cornfield and or the soy field or whatever it's going to be, and they eat this. So this has been the sacrificial lamb. So now this is back down to rootstock. This is just a peach rootstock, some kind of stone fruit. I can tell by the leaf that it was peach. It was probably like a sour peach rootstock. So at some point we'll try to overgraft here back to another stone fruit that we like. It seems like peaches do well and pears are doing well. That's my observation here in the Indiana area. You know, I want nectarines, so I'm trying some nectarines. I got 2 nectarines to grow, one on this property and one on the other. I haven't been doing a ton of them, right, but I try to put in a few trees a year to make this happen. But it's all about the intentionality, right? I wanted a fruit forest, and they're like, okay, you put it here, I just want to make mowing easy. Okay, so how can I make mowing easy? Well, I'm going to put plastic down so that you can just ride your mower halfway up, one wheel on the mulch and one wheel off the mulch, and just ride it, and no weed whacking necessary, right? So it's a little bit more edge work for them, but at the same time, if I do this enough, it's actually less mowing if I really take it to the next level, right? They wanted a lot of space here because I think there is a leach field actually right here, so there is a little bit of underground water happening from my trees. That's why we have so far between. They're probably like 30 feet, almost 40 between rows. And then this is the final set of trees before we get closer to the house, and this is probably about 5 years old. This actually isn't. This is a newer one because the thing in this place keeps dying. I had a cherry here. I tried cherry several times in different locations, and cherry doesn't want to grow here. So now I'm not trying cherry. Now I'm trying something else. Peaches, of course, are going to grow. And it's just holding peaches. So here we are, holding peaches. They're a little bit green. Oh, if they're going to fall off like that, then I guess I'll have to either eat them or pickle them. Right? A little salt, vinegar. If you want to go sweet because they're sweet, go sugar, right? And then you have pickled whatever you want. Green fruit. Give it a couple of months to be edible. Okay. That's my little update. The orchard out in Du Bois County, Du Bois City, Indiana. 2-year-old to 7-year-old orchard. You can see the stuff in the back. The 7-year-old stuff is, you'd have to try to cut it down now to stop it. But at this point, any of these things that are growing, any of these trees are going to continue growing unless they get knocked out by a deer or some radical event comes through, because they're drought resistant. I've not given them any care, right? Haven't given them anything except we mow them and tried to blow some mulch on it when I first did it. I tried to plant a ring of plants right around it, just really to keep grandpa away from it, right? I didn't have mulch here when I first did these, so I was just trying to make it so you could ride your mower up on the ring of plants instead of the mulch. Keeps the earth cool, keeps a little bit of water in. We just do this everywhere, right? Plant this like this in your green strip. You got 30 feet, you can put them together. If you want to prune a lot, then you put them closer together, right? If they're 10 feet apart, you're gonna plan on cutting probably yearly and pruning, right? If they're a little further apart, 15, 20 feet apart, well, maybe you just leave them there and you don't touch them, and that's the plan. Right? So depending on who's doing it and who's planning on maintaining it, that kind of dictates how you want to do it. But do it, just start. You can always cut a tree down and go, oh, it's too close together. That's easy. I can cut a 10-year-old tree down in 2 minutes, but I can't plant a 10-year-old tree. So plant today. Get started. Make some magic. And then you get the fruits of your labor, which is always really fun. God, you're beautiful.